Feminism has ruined media, and it can be obviously seen in the Odyssey. The fact that Helen, supposedly the most beautiful woman in the world in Greek mythology, is now a black chick who isn't even beautiful. Feminism, basically the view that women are victimized by the patriarchy and all the other bullshit. Listen, I knew a lot about feminism. I've learned about this shit in school. I studied sociology in hopes that I would learn more about psychology and the way that actual like systematic function of society works. Instead, they just a huge propaganda for the leftist view that women are oppressed and that conservative values are bigoted and are outright wrong, and that conservatives are racist. This is the problem with a lot of leftist ideology and lot of leftist view in general. Quite narcissistic. It's the view that they're always at the center and they're always victims of oppression. No matter that's literally Antifa, right? Anti-fascism is literally because if they believe that they are, oh my god, the dogs are barking. Believe they are being oppressed by a fascist leader, right? So they themselves start to violently act and literally riot against these fascists. But they themselves are the ones, like if you ever seen, I'm seeing this guy, right? I think it's Young Bob or something. This young British guy who I think he's like a 17-year-old kid actively like arguing like Charlie Kirk did, right? Arguing against the bystanders and like university students in the United Kingdom. And the thing about this guy, right? There's a lot of Antifa members, right, actively trying to censor him, oppress him of this weird LGBTQ guys, literally like breaking down his stand. His YouTube channel is Project Britannia. He's an absolute legend, absolute G, conservative guy who's obviously oppressed by people claiming to fight oppression. You see the contradiction here? But anyways, let me go right back on track. Listen, guys, feminism has ruined every single piece of media that's coming out right now. Not only did this view, this liberal, leftist, progressive view, make overall cinema much more, digestible for the normies and much more, and not much more strong-willed, you can say. I mean, Sylvester Stallone said it himself. If Rocky couldn't have been made in this current generation, right? If Rocky, like Sylvester Stallone, was in this current era, he wouldn't be able to make Rocky. This strong-minded, like masculine movie filled with courage and bravery couldn't have been made in this current era. Everyone's become soft, everyone's become weak. And recently, thank God for like Twitter and like Elon Musk. Even then, like free speech also is very questionable on Twitter because you can't really make fun of a certain demographic of people or like question the demographic of people, if you know what I'm saying, without you getting banned and censored. So yeah, even that has its limits. But for the most part, Twitter is a very good platform for free speech. And with that free speech, we have, found a lot of conservative or generally rational minded thinking when it comes to fucking like progressive media being promoted everywhere. Before, like, it's even found, like, I think Jeffrey Epstein's wife was literally a Reddit moderator who moderated like insane, like, a lot of like communities on Reddit and actively censored and banned and like removed comments which were like conservative or like critically went against certain ideologies. It's like fucking like Jewish liberal mindset. So it's obviously there. The proof is there. The liberals are censoring, conservative guys who are actually like rationally thinking to promote a weaker, softer ideology, while they themselves are oppressing the guys who are trying to make good conversation, democratic conversations with one another. That's why they shoot fucking like Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump, right? Even though I don't agree completely with Donald Trump, right? I like Donald Trump. I supported him like greatly before he was president. Now that he's president, he's making a couple moves that I don't agree upon. But you know what? You don't have to fully agree with anybody. At least the core consensus is there. But anyways, like feminist ideology, thank God, like Elon Musk is calling this shit out. Elon Musk has like publicly made statements against the Odyssey. Not only because like it's so horribly made. Like Christopher Nolan did not make a good adaptation of the Iliad to the Odyssey. If you want a bigger documentary or like a bigger video essay on this sort of topic on the Odyssey and the Iliad, you can watch Carl Ram. Like he was Hamza's editor for a while. I watch him a lot. That guy has like straight up ball knowledge. Like so, go watch Carl Ram after you finish with this video if you're interested. But anyways, like it's just been seen everywhere, even in video games. Like this feminist propaganda has seeped into everything. This leftist ideology propaganda has seeped into every sort of media you can even think of. Like, I recently knew like I only recently knew of the Punisher. I used to watch the Punisher, the series, right? Because I thought it was quite based. You know, I liked John versus the Punisher. But I recently found that in like 2020 he posed with like the transgender flag. Everything happened in the 2020, by the way, guys. Don't you guys realize after like COVID and like Fauci told you guys to stay at home and now he's being tried and shit. After everyone like cut down to the COVID pandemic and everyone became so liberal, it was all started in like 2020, this shit, and like started progressing and only ended back in like 2023 or something, right? When Andrew Tate started rising again, when like Elon Musk bought Twitter, then this shit started like. But still, we still have these sort of media portraying these blue pill narratives, liberal narrative. But I like to see that there's a lot of people who are actively fighting it, and like every sort of video game or movie you can see nowadays, it's always made with this soft ideology to promote some kind of woman empowered girl boss ideology. Men are weak, women are strong. Women can't be blamed for anything else. That's where I was going with the Odyssey. Helen was to be blamed for the Trojan War. She decided to fuck off with Paris, not the country, right? The guy, right? And decided to have an intercourse with him, with Paris, right? And basically kickstarted the Trojan War because she wasn't, loyal to her husband. This is pretty much like a correlating back to Adam and Eve. I'm not gonna be too spiritual on this. I don't even follow the Bible. I'm not a Christian, but if we look back at the story of Adam and Eve, right? Eve is to blame. This gullible chick, is to blame for not following God's warning and eating the apple and condemning us to this suffering of what we see as Earth, right? So chicks are to be blamed, but according to a liberal or progressive ideology, feminist ideology, which everyone has nowadays, and these Jewish media owners always tend to promote, right? It's deemed as misogynistic to blame women. So women don't have any accountability, right? The woman isn't up to blame for actively cheating on her husband, right? Because Helen is just a victim here, right? Helen is not to blame for the war. Well, of course, that's complete bullshit, right? Tell them it's up to blame. Women need to have accountability for the things they did. This can transcend a movie, transcends media, transcends into real life. A girl will get literally like pounded and fucked by consensual sex with someone else. I literally later on regret having sex with that guy. So now that deemed it worthy for her to literally like go and bring this guy to a court case claiming rape. How fair is that? Like women ain't have any fucking accountability now? You had consensual sex with a guy and later regretted it? There's the same thing which happened to Mike Tyson and the same thing which gonna happen to Tate, which literally like he's in prison for this shit. They're both think women shouldn't have accountability. Women don't bear responsibilities and they're always stronger than men. Listen, this is outright false. Even in the Iliad, I think it was like Odysseus's wife or something, who were literally guys, right? Who wanted to literally marry Odysseus' wife Penelope, like marry the queen. Basically, the woman who were to lead the country, right? Marry the queen, like take all the Odysseus' wealth, and like pretty much squat in his palace. And like Penelope, of course, she couldn't literally like make them leave. She couldn't physically make them leave. No, if you look at history, like women aren't meant to be in roles of power. Women aren't meant to lead. That's simply because they aren't physically strong. They aren't like they don't. They were biologically made to lead, guys. They were made to literally serve. All right. They were made to give birth, to nurture, to give birth to a child. Right. Make them suck. Like take out fucking milk. Literally, like give out milk and literally just like be good housewives. They can't lead. They can't. In modern society, we have all these girl bosses trying to act like, yeah, they are here to lead. They can make decisions and shit. Their decisions are all wrong. They're all flawed. They aren't, operating in the physical realm of violence, so they can't even defend themselves without a man helping them. They don't even have testosterone to take risks and be the one to fight and be courageous in battle or in any negotiations politically. They are gullible as fuck. I mean, there's a quote by George Orwell. It was always the women, and above all the young ones, who were the most bigoted adherents of the party, the swallowers of slogans, the amateur spies, and noses out of unorthodoxy. So basically, in 1984, right, in George Orwell's 1984, it's this dystopian society where the governments, the dictatorship, right, pretty much like made it so that you had no free thought, you were always supervised, you were basically just a slave in a machine with no free thought, no individuality, and just made to just like work. It's pretty much like the Matrix, right? And the women are the most bigoted to the party, literally to this ideology. They will support this ideology, just like women wanted you to stay at home back in the COVID eras because they are the most bigoted of the species. They are gullible, guys. Women shouldn't be in positions of power. They can't make decisions. I'm going off the tangent, but just like this whole feminist ideology is flawed. Biologically, they okay. Listen, if biologically women were meant to lead and women were like these Amazon warriors, right? Then you would find civilizations, you would find the natural tribes leaning to more dominant women worldwide. But worldwide, we see that the most dominant civilizations, like pretty much every single one of them, are civilizations led by men. Or civilization led by the patriarchy. How did that happen? Because biologically, women's duty is to serve their men, take out milk for their kids, and just like wash clothes and shit. There's nothing wrong with that. It's completely fine. It's their duty. And to try and make girls want to chase a career or act like a girl boss just reduces the birth rate of countries and it's gonna make literally civilization go extinct because no humans are gonna be procreated except from fucking African barbarians. So all this level of technology that we're developing is gonna be useless if there's only gonna be African savages and like dumbass Indians or fucking like Pakistanis breeding. Feminism has ruined media and pretty much the entire world. I hope we see a change because it's flawed. And okay, listen, I'm gonna go on another tangent, but the one thing I absolutely hate about the feminist ideology and these liberal ideologies that they find any sort of way to be victims. Guys, you are not a victim. Your man having to work to provide for you does not make you a victim, alright? Just because you have to wash clothes and like cater to the house does not make you a victim. This motherfucker has to go to work, make money for you, spoil you, and you still find yourself to be a victim. How does that make any sense? And then these bitches like literally like the feminist propaganda will literally say that to empower yourself you need to go to work. But now that women are all going to work, they would much all the women who are girl bosses and go to work are like insanely frustrated in their own lives, would much rather not go to work and would much rather be dependent on a man who can actually spoil them and take care of them. Any woman would like a multi-millionaire guy to take care of them so that they don't have to work in their lives, right? So that's a direct contradiction to feminism. That's why the birth rate is continually decreasing. Women are not meant to be girl bosses. This is the end of the matters, the fact. I'm gonna die on the chick who wants to defy me, can challenge me into Mortal Kombat, and we see who the winner is. I'm just kidding, but feminism just ruined media, guys. I don't know. You tell me your thoughts and opinions in the comments, but in every sort of like AAA, Marvel like movie, and I think pretty much media that's coming out, it's like media isn't like outrageous anymore. Isn't dark, isn't edgy. There's no significant matter, isn't courageous, isn't risky, isn't even spreading a message. The only message media is spreading nowadays is for you to become a good little boy, subservient to the female leaders in society, and that they are always victims and that they are better than men. All I can say is just that, guys, just produce content. Like, I'm tired of seeing all these feminist propaganda. I might as well make my own fucking movie. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more interesting, intriguing thoughts, philosophy with your boy, Skinny Penis. And thanks for watching, guys.